Traders, welcome back to the channel. We're going to be covering a little bit of AMC, and I'll be running down some stocks I traded today and what I'm looking at going into tomorrow and what I currently have right now. Now, I want to break it down super fast and to the point, get you out of here as quickly as possible. If you're new to the channel, there is no BS. So if I think the stock's going down, I will tell you I think the stock's going down. If I think it's going to the moon, then chances are I have my money on it and I'm betting it's going to the moon. So let's not waste any more time. Like, subscribe, do what you got to do. Let's get to it.
I got no drip in my pocket. Must have forgot it, or maybe I.
All right, so at the end of the video, I will be breaking down what I think is going to be going on tomorrow and what I'm doing heavily just with my strategy overall with the markets and what I'll be looking at. But I want to highlight a few things that happened today and why I think TA matters. Now, some of you people will say that TA doesn't matter. They're just bars and, you know, it doesn't matter whatsoever. I would disagree, and I would say that there's anything that's helpful at all with guessing the price action and making money on AMC, it's actually going to be TA. So what we saw going into Friday's video and Saturday's video, I said I thought the downside would occur. We had a double bottom at that 37.7 support. You popped up from that range, moved all the way back to that weekly open, and then you got rejected today. So you were rejected right there. And typically what we suspect to happen here on the channel when it comes to trading any stock, you always want to play it up to that level and then get out when you get to that resistance, because majority of the time you're going to get rejected from that resistance at least once. That's just how things go. So in my opinion, going into AMC right now, is it bearish? Is it bullish? Where do I stand? I'm going to tell you right now, I have a neutral position on it right now, and this may not make you happy. So if you start to push back up and you get rejected and you double top at this range, that's very, very bearish in my opinion. Now, going into tomorrow, if you start pushing down to this range, I wouldn't necessarily be that bearish on it as long as it holds this local bottom here, that 37.7. So if we could somehow end the week like this, just trending sideways, that wouldn't really be that bad. And going into Friday, it could potentially be a great buying opportunity if it's down here in the $38, $39 range, because I like consolidation in that range, and we've made lots of money trending in a channel like that. Going back in the past, we bought here, and we made money both of those times just consolidating on those supports. So that's always something that you are looking for. So in my opinion, going into tomorrow, I know it's going to sound absolutely crazy, but you don't necessarily need or want to see too much upside because you don't want to see a double top. If you see a double top, in my opinion, there's no reason to touch options. And right now I have no options on it just because, like I said, right now it's a neutral position. It could really swing either way. I don't project or even suspect a big breakout to 46, 47, 48. I don't see that happening this month whatsoever. I think you're gonna have slow consolidating type movement going into October, maybe even the end of October, and then I suspect more moves to come back in November and then possibly the beginning of December. That's when I think you're going to start seeing covering, more options coming back into the money, things like that. And that's really what I'm suspecting and overall projecting when it comes to AMC. But let's look at some other stocks. Now, going into today, my favorite stock, the heaviest stock I was in, if you asked anyone in Discord, they would tell you it was AMD. I've been talking about them for a few days. Entry in the Discord was about right here when you reclaimed that daily level. That's when I got into this, and I've been holding for about 3 days. This was a monster play, made about 60% on it, got into options at 295 for 105 strikes. We sold today, or I sold today at 435 and 440. We made a monstrous play there. It was a great play. Love it. Very textbook. Now, people were asking, what did I see in this? Now, this was not just a technical play, just so you know. This was definitely a fundamental viewpoint play. And I'm going to break this down more at the end of the video when it comes to these blue chips and things like that. But I told everyone, again, you're going to keep hearing me say it. Tuesday was Blue Chip Tuesday. It was the opportunity of opportunities because you saw almost every big stock just take off. You had Netflix, CRM, Apple, Facebook, everything had a phenomenal bounce back from Wednesday and then Thursday today. Now, I think tomorrow is going to have more question marks about it, and we're going to answer those question marks at the end of the video, but I did end up getting out of AMC or AMD because now you're seeing that resistance right here. And again, you always suspect and project a rejection at least once when you come to that range. So the fact that you broke down and now you're coming up and testing, this is your first test, I suspect a rejection. Could you break right through this and go up? You 100% could, but this is a lower probability outcome that you break straight through it. And Worst case scenario, I try to re-enter it later on when it retests that support once again, because chances are if you break above, you're going to come down and retest, and that's always where you want to re-enter is this level right here. You don't really want to enter below any type of resistance. It's just a low value trade. Now, this stock is going to have the most question marks around it for me. DraftKings. And I was very confident. I still love them. If you look at the whole sector, you can look at PIN. They're killing it. MGM. Killing it. Caesars, they're all killing it, right? But if we go to DraftKings, they're not. They have a little bit of bad news surrounding them. I think a short report just came out on them as well. Right now, I'm watching to make sure and see if they can hold this double bottom. If they don't, I will have to cut ties. But I think there's just so much room to go up here. And today, maybe I got a little bit greedy because we did enter around 52.3 and you bumped all the way up almost to $54, but I saw more room for growth. And again, maybe greed killed me on this trade, but overall, I believed in what I saw similar to AMD, and I'm glad I held AMD. I'm down about 20% here, but overall, I still love the position, and I'm trying to remain unemotional about this play. So if it breaks below that double bottom, I'll have to get out, and I'll be looking for entries about the 50.5 and possibly even $48, $49 down here. You got to remain unemotional with these plays. So it's possible and most probable that I will lose money on this play or have to get out of it pretty shortly, maybe before this video even gets released. But I still like it if it can hold this double bottom at 51.6, 51.65, that range there. That's what I'm looking at personally. Now, going into tomorrow, what are some other plays and things like that? I think Robinhood is shaping up to be one of the better plays on the market. I definitely want to see more of a pullback. I'll definitely be posting as well on Twitter if I do enter this play. I do love Robinhood. You heard my video yesterday, and it really sucks I couldn't get that video out sooner. We had just problems with the internet, and I couldn't upload it. It's my bad. Personal mistake. I tried to get that out around noon so everyone had an opportunity. I'll try to get this one out before market close today as well. But what you're seeing here, I think you're getting a little bit of a pullback, but ultimately Robinhood is taking steps in the right direction. And I know you guys hate the stock. I know you guys all hate Robinhood and y'all think they're crooks or whatever. But majority of these brokerages are in fact crooks, just FYI. But Robinhood is bringing those cryptocurrency wallets and they're taking advantage where Coinbase is showing weakness. And I think they are taking steps in the right direction in the most profitable part of their business. And I think there's going to be a lot of upside. So what I'm looking for personally is a retest of 44, possibly a retest of 43.7. If it hits 43.7, I'll probably enter almost immediately. But I'll also be posting on Twitter if I do in fact get those positions. So make sure you follow and subscribe there. 100% free, posting content literally all day, every day. But let's break down what I think is happening with the markets and what I'm watching for as well. Actually, before we hop out, BTCM, I mentioned them yesterday. You saw a lot of choppiness here. You saw some downside as well today, testing that monthly and popping back up. Absolutely love these guys, heavily shorted. If they can break out of this trend here, they're going to absolutely erupt. Keep them on your radar. Low cap stock, Bitcoin-based stock. Bitcoin's in a very good place. Keep them on your radar. I'm telling you, BTCM, $11, $12 is highly likely in the coming week. That's a big call out for me, and I have money in this. I do have money in this, and I like what I'm seeing. But let's get to kind of my viewpoint onto the markets going into tomorrow. All right, so going into tomorrow, there's a lot of question marks for me. So I exited AMD not because I didn't see more upside, but because there's so many questions with China right now. Now, I think Evergrande, there's a low possibility they go under. I think it's a low possibility. But what I will say is that there is a possibility that something just goes bad. Now, if you're seeing reports on the news and things like that and you're following that whatsoever, then you're seeing they haven't had any coupon payments going on today. Now, there were reports that they were going to make those payments. They came out and said they were. Markets are bouncing very strong. Interest rates tapering. Everything went perfectly as planned. But there's no official report of any of those payments going through to any of the people that they owed those money to. So that's going to be the big question going into tomorrow, and we'll really have the answer around 7 p.m. Central because that's when Asia market opens, and you're going to really get a vibe of what's going on in China. Now, I do think they're going to make the payments, but that's why I just cut some risk across the board because you never know what's going to happen, and you got to stay prepared. So that's my viewpoint. I'll have more information going on tomorrow. If it all does go well, I'll be loading up on plays as well because If they make any payments whatsoever, I do think we come out extremely strong next week. And I think the market continues on this bounce back action that we're seeing right now. I appreciate all the love, support. Like, subscribe, do what you got to do. Twitter, Instagram, everything like that's down below. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And remember one thing, boys. We run the market.
But I'm about to take off like a rocket. Houston, we might have a problem, but that don't mean